Welcome to Southern Maryland Sports Journal. I'm your host, Travis Thomas. Here in Richmond at Redskins Training Camp, we're here with a very special guest, WTTG Fox 5's Dave Ross. Dave,
wow.
Welcome to the show. You've been on my radio show.
We go way back, Travis. It's great to see you as always,
You
my
too,
friend.
you too. All right, let's jump right to it. First story, thing on everyone's mind is RG3's health. What do we know? Where are we at? Outlook of camp. Do you work him in slow, pull the reins back a little bit?
I think you have to be as cautious as you can be, Travis, with this guy, because we know his mentality says that he wants to go out there every day, every practice, and push it to the limit. I think it's incumbent on the coaching staff to make sure that they safeguard the kid from himself. Because if you've watched any of the press conferences, if you watched him out here in the first couple of days, you know that he essentially is ready to go in his mind. Whether or not his knee is actually ready to go, mentally, he's ready to go. And what I gleaned from the very first day here is that he believes September 9th against the Eagles on Monday Night Football that he's going to be playing. With or without a brace, but he's going to be playing. No pup list, no 6 weeks off, and then starting like Adrian Peterson did a year ago. He's going to be out here doing as much work as he can, which AP did not do in Minnesota last year. So that's a little bit of the difference when you compare those two. So I think he really has to be cautious to make sure he doesn't push it a little bit too much.
Now, here's a question that I wonder. Long term, does this injury maybe help his overall development? Because now the mobility may not be there. Does he have to learn how to stay in the pocket and read the defense that way?
I think so. I mean, I don't know that you want RG3 to just be a drop-back passer, because then he becomes one of 30, right? Other guys that can do that skill set. What he brings is what the other 29 or the other 30 can't really do. And it is that mobility that we just haven't seen, that running back quality that he brings to the quarterback position with the speed when he gets outside. So you're always going to hear, Travis, people say, oh, we got to change the way he plays. He's going to have to get down. He's going to have to do different things. No, he even said himself, he's playing in the Super Bowl, and he's got to get those 3 extra yards. Instead of going out of bounds and safeguarding the knee, he's going to cut it back up. He still knows, and the difference will be, can he do it? Can he actually apply what he's thinking in that I'll turn it up when I have to and dial it down when I don't? That's his biggest dilemma going into the season.
All right, if you're Mike Shanahan, you've taken all the flack in the world for playing him through the injury. A lot of people say it should have took him out of the Seattle game.
Yeah.
What do you do in year 2 now with not only the existing injury, but just moving forward? Do you call plays differently for the guy?
They say they're not. They say that they are going to call pretty much essentially the same type of plays that they ran a year ago. They were highly successful with those plays. Now, again, to the detriment of maybe an injury to his knee. That's the give and take of this thing. I just don't think they can dummy down the offense for him and play scared football. I don't. I don't think the coaching staff looks at it that way. Certainly I don't think Kyle Shanahan, who's calling the plays, wants to dummy it down. So I think it's going to be week 1, like you saw in New Orleans a year ago. It's going to be that, wow, we haven't seen this guy at all in preseason. It's going to be all new for the Eagles. They'll have no idea what to expect. And I really think they're going to come out and be as dynamic as they were a year ago in week 1.
Dave Ross, what about Alfred Morris? He sort of plays second fiddle.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even after the season he had, he gets
I thought he
lost.
should have been the Rookie of the Year last year.
Well, a case could be made there.
Yeah.
What about him with RG3's injury? How important is he to the Redskins' college?
Huge. Last year, again, as you say, it's almost quiet as kept. He was really the engine that ran this offense last year. Because remember, RG3 didn't start every game. Alfred was there every game. Kirk Cousins is behind center. Alfred Morris is in the backfield. RG3's there. Alfred Morris is there. He was the main constant, if you really look at all 16 games a year ago. So you could make the case that as their offense went, so went Alfred Morris. So I think you're still going to see heavy doses of him. I don't think you tail it back for him either. I think he's going to get 20-plus carries per game. And if he gets 20-plus carries, and I don't know that he can be as successful as he was as a rookie because more people will key on him. As long as RG3's back there, linebackers are going to go there. Alfred should still have a lot of running space. I look for another big year from Alfred Morris.
Big question with this offense is wide receiver. Not a lot to address that in the offseason. How do you see that playing out with this receiving core?
How is Pierre Garçon's foot? If his toe is okay, Trav, I don't think we're going to have many concerns come week 5, week 6. Again, he had the dynamic play the first week against the Saints, scores the touchdown, gets injured on that play. And then for the rest of the year, is he going to be back? Is he not going to be back? When he played, that offense went to a different level. He really, to me, makes everybody else better. He's going to make Josh Morgan better. He's going to make Santana Moss, who's the ageless wonder out here, going to make him better. We'll see if Hankerson develops. They're going to count on him. I mean, this is a big year for a guy like Hank, who really took a step back a year ago coming off that hip injury. So if Garcon's healthy, that makes everybody else in that roster deeper. If he's not, then the guys like Hankerson have got to step up where it could really be a weak link on this offense.
Let's talk NFC East. Are the Redskins still the team to beat in the division? How do you see the NFC East playing out?
The only other team that I say right now, day one, you could put up there is the Giants. Now, the Giants obviously disappointed, but they seem to do this. They win the Super Bowl, miss the playoffs. Come back, they seem to win the Super Bowl again. I'd look for the Giants to really come strong this year. The Cowboys, I don't know what you're going to get out of them. Tony Romo, it's like they're applauding him for finally showing up to camp. Isn't that what starting quarterbacks are supposed to do? Why is he getting a pat on the back for showing up? I don't get that. So I think they could really be in disarray. They've got some injuries to the defensive side of the ball, too, coming out of camp. And then the Eagles are the one unknown commodity that you have in this league with a new head coach, a rookie head coach, and with a guy, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Is it Michael Vick? And if it is Michael Vick, is he a shell of his former self? Because I don't think this offense with Nick Foles or whomever else you want to put back there is going to work without Michael Vick. So if it's not the old Vick, if it's the Vic we saw last year, they're going nowhere. If he can somehow cut back on the turnovers, it could be an interesting mix with that Oregon fast-paced offense. Again, the one thing you have to kind of worry about if you're a Redskin fan on that week one on Monday night, you haven't seen them either. So while RG3, they're going to put the bubble wrap on him in preseason, so nobody else will see him, well, we haven't seen what they have either. And I think it's very smart what they've done in Philadelphia to start off for week one. As of right now, we don't know who the quarterback is. And why would you tip your hand?
Yeah, it's hard to prepare when you don't know who the guy is.
If you got to prepare for two, you can't take all the reps for one.
It's going to be Vic, though, right?
It's going to be Vic.
I mean,
of course,
he just fits that
offense. As long as he's healthy, it seems to fit his skill set. But if I had to rank them right now, I'd put the Giants and Redskins as 1 and 1A. You figure out who you want to put in front. I put the Cowboys as a distant third, and then the Eagles bringing up the rear right now.
He's definitely number one. Dave Ross, Fox 5.
Travis T. Always a pleasure. Thanks.
From Richmond, Virginia, at Redskins Training Camp, I'm Travis Thomas. You've been watching Southern Maryland Sports Journal.
And watch him more because he's the best.